Hello again, and welcome to Winning with the Wrangler at Dick Powell's Leadership Corner, brought to you by Earth, Wind, Fire, Water Training and Development, where our passion is building leaders of today and tomorrow. Leaders, today we're going to look at something that I believe comes across all of our thought process from one time or another in our world about changing careers, about choosing something different. So I'm going to ask the question, which sometimes is not all that easy to answer. Are you ready to change your career? You see, this involves a discernment process, making choices, and there's a lot more to it than what we really want to believe. The first thing I always ask is well, do you want to keep doing what you're doing, just somewhere else? And that's really an important piece. I remember when I left the organization after 30 years, somebody said to me, "Well, aren't you going to come back as a contractor or a consultant?" And I said, "No, I'm ready to go do something different. I want to change." Well, I have to tell you that really started this whole process of, and when we started to write this down, because I found that many people were in my position. We had done our 30 years and we were still relatively young and had a lot of hopes and dreams of what we'd like to accomplish. Well, before, before whatever. But anyhow, the whole thing is that I've met most people that said, tell me that I've done that for 30 years. I want to do something different. And so what does that mean? And I have to tell you that there's some bigger questions there. First of all, if you've decided to stay kind of in the same genre or world that you've been working in for a number of years, and you've decided that you need to change, I'm going to ask you the question: have you kept up on all the newest and latest things happening in your chosen career industry? You see, many times what happens is as we age and stage, let's say that we get complacent. And we don't stay up on the latest and greatest things in the careers that we say we have chosen. Because I believe sometimes the career chose you and you didn't choose it. So it's that lag time. And the people I've worked with who have been laid off or downsized, and they haven't kept up with the latest and greatest, newest things that are going on with their career or their work that they were doing, they find themselves at the end of the pack and no one's really looking with them, and because they didn't stay current. So I'm going to encourage you, before you make this jump, start to look at what do I need to do to either stay current or move ahead in the field that I'm working in right now. Because I believe this will help you start making those choices as we start looking down at these other questions. The next, I think, question that you need to really put high on your priority list is do you have a treasure chest? And by that I mean, do you have some savings put away that you could live for at least 1 year in this new quest of looking or changing careers? You see, this treasure chest will allow you to survive. But I hope that while you're working wherever you're working now and you're thinking about changing careers, you're starting to put away this nest egg. Now, I had some really good advice when I was younger, and a gentleman told me, "Hey, Dick, for every dollar, put away a dime for your long-term financial success." Boy, I tell you what, we're only making, $2.10 an hour as a lineman, and at the end of the week, that wasn't quite $100. That was kind of hard to do, but we did it. That enabled me to do what I love to do now. So as I changed careers, I changed opportunities. Having that treasure chest was huge, and so when I work with people that are going through this opportunity, I always ask them, do you have a treasure chest and how much is in it? You see, it's kind of like looking at your budget before you make the jump. Well, these are just the start of the questions that you need to ask yourself. And therefore, I want to ask you, you know, why do you want to make the change? You see, I think you need to answer that question. Am I just bored? Do I don't like the person I'm working with? Do I don't like the company? What is it? What is it driving you to make this change? Now, sometimes it's age and stage or personal growth that says, hey, it's time for me to do this. So I'm going to encourage you to get some paper and pencil. And I know if you're driving and listening to this, you don't have a paper and pencil, but you just remember what I'm saying. But if you're at your home, if you're somewhere where you're listening to this show, and you can do it, take the time. I'm going to really encourage you to do that. Get out 3 pieces of paper, and you might need more. But make one list and entitle this list "Things I Know How to Do." And this is going to be a pretty good sized list, depending on your age and stage. Anywhere from you know how to tie your shoes to do spreadsheets or fly an airplane. You see, we're all different, and so those things are going to be different for each and every one of us. But it's going to be a pretty good sized list, I have a feeling, of all the things you know how to do. Now, if you think this is silly, just hold on just a minute, because I believe when we go to list number 2, it's going to start making sense. Now, list number 2, I want you to entitle it "Things I Want to Learn How to Do," okay, and like to do. Learn how to or like to, okay? In other words, list all the things you really want to try, okay? I want to try to learn how to be a better cook. I want to write better. I want to climb Mount Everest. Well, the things you've always wanted to try. And you're going to find that list is going to be somewhat shorter. Well, maybe not. Mine was about the same length, because I like to do a lot of different things. But when I started looking at the first list and the second list and comparing them, I found that my passions and my visions started to really align of what I was good at and what I knew how to do, and how could I monetize the two. That's why I'm encouraging you to do that. Now, I know I told you to get 3 lists, and I know I'm coming to it. Now, the third list, I want you to write on this list, and I'm being really serious here. I want you to write on this list all the things you never, ever, ever, never, ever, never want to do again. And whether it's working at a retail store, or shining shoes, or changing diapers, which is number 1 on my list, write it down. Because we know that when we start looking at monetizing, and we start looking at how to making the choice of where we're going to make this change, we need to know exactly what you do not want to do. That's important. See, even though some of us have worked a job for 30 years, there were parts of that job that I never want to do again. I was a lineman for a long time, and at this age and stage, I'm sorry, I don't want to climb poles anymore. So you see how that starts to work out. But I found that when I was looking at the 2 lists, that I knew how to write, I knew how to speak on stage, I knew how to do those things. And when I looked at the things I wanted to do, or try to do, or learn to do, I wanted to write a book. Oh, so you see how that started to go together. And then when you write a book, of course, you have to be out speaking about it, which is right down my alley. And you see how all these things started coming together. 3 lists. 1 list, all the things you know how to do, no matter how trivial you'll think it is, okay? And number 2 list is all the things you'd really like to try to do or do. We found on our list was travel, and we're doing that quite a lot now, but think about it. We never did it before. Well, 30 years you didn't have time. See? And of course, the list of things you never want to do. Now, I really am going to encourage you to set list number 1 and list number 2 side by side, and start looking at them and comparing what you know how to do and what you'd like to learn to do, and start putting those together. When you have that put together, then you're going to start looking at how can I monetize these. Now, I'm going to encourage you at that time to seek out a coach, either a career coach or a personal life coach. I'm going to encourage you to do that. Those of us who do career coaching and personal life coaching really will be able to ask you some more questions to help you really narrow it down. And then we'll do some things like give it a try before we leave where we're at. Shadow somebody, talk to somebody, we'll do all the research, then we'll get prepared, and then we'll execute the move. You see, that's the whole piece. This thing of doing the research, that's doing your 3 lists. You're really doing some research on who you are, and where you want to be, and how you want to be there. The next step is to get prepared. You might need to go take a class, go to a seminar, reconnect with some old contacts. You might even need to learn a new skill. You know, I mean, if it's something you've always wanted to do, you know, I remember when I always wanted to learn how to be a welder, and I went and took the class, and boy, did I find out I enjoyed it, I loved it. But boy, it was a whole lot harder than I had ever imagined. And so I realized pretty quick that probably wasn't going to be someplace I was going to be making a career or change, but I was going to keep it as something I like to take and do in the garage on my spare time and make art projects. You see how this all starts to jive here. But you really need someone to help guide you through this. So you get prepared, you go take the class, you go to the seminar, you reconnect with some old contacts, pull out that list of people you haven't talked to for a long time. Ask them the question like I did. Hey, what do you think I'd be good at? Yeah, what do you think I'd enjoy? And when someone told me a company spokesperson, I kind of giggled and I said, well, I've never done that before. They said, well, but you're really good at it. But what do you mean? And so they started to tell me, evidently, they saw something that I didn't see, so I had to go and put it on my list. Yeah. And I had to take some classes on reading and writing and speaking and all those kind of things and running all this electronic stuff here in the studio. Because I didn't know, believe me. And so I went and found a coach, a career coach and a life coach. And this person really did an excellent job helping me refine and define exactly what I wanted to do and how I wanted to do it and where I wanted to end up. You see, they helped me get my vision down, my future picture. They really helped me get my mission down, my purpose, my calling. And then the next step, the strategy, the plan seemed to just fall into place. But it was a lot of work, a lot more than I anticipated. And I'm encouraging you to look at this before this happens. I was one of those people who a company came in and bought the company I worked for, and I was asked to leave. They did smile when they say it, but it was traumatic. And so I'm really having you look at this before that happens, before it's a traumatic thing, and you can take some time to really put some thought process into it. You see? Now, once you do the research, do your list, and then you get prepared by going and doing the things you need to do, and you're ready to execute. You've got your bankroll happening, you know your treasure chest, you've got all these things happening. You need to just go for it. It's going to be scary. For those of us who were asked to leave and had nowhere to go, it was really scary. For those of you who are making the choice now to get prepared, I'm going to encourage you to do so. Always have a plan B and a plan C. And I was very fortunate I was able to take and go and open a company and make it a very success. And that company was bought and all those kind of things. I just was fortunate enough to have that expertise. Now, I'm going to encourage you, once you go for it, once you have made the decision, you're starting to change the career. You're starting to change and choose what you want to do. I'm going to encourage you to network with everyone. Old contacts, new contacts, wherever you're at, make sure that you're telling everyone, hey, I've just started something new and I could possibly use your help. You just never know who you're going to say that to, who's going to step forward and say, you know, we need that in our company, or I can help you with that, or have you ever thought about this? And they're going to provide some information which will help you to continue to do your research on your new opportunity. You want to be the biggest and the best of knowledge base on this new opportunity. So that means to get out and network for those who are doing the job that you want to do, or having the career that you want to have, or people who see this and how it's happening, and you can network to refine the strategy, the plan. Very important here. All right. The next step I'm going to say is to celebrate. You know, by the time you get to this point, you should be in this new opportunity and things are rolling along really, really well. And you're going to do the happy dance, and you want to celebrate, you know, big time that you have made this thing. It hasn't been an easy road, but now you're celebrating. Hey, you know, I made the choice, and we got prepared. We did the research, and boy, now we're executing the plan. This is good, and we've networked with enough people that we're able to bring in more knowledge and more opportunity. This is great, and you're going to do the happy dance and share that with everyone you can. You see, this is a big part of it, this celebration part. So many times we don't do that, and it just kind of rolls through, and I think that we're missing, you know, we're missing that celebration, the happiness, the joy, the hope. Wow. So after you celebrate, here's what I want to encourage you to do. I want you to pull out those 3 sheets, start over. I want you to look at all the things you know how to do, and maybe some of the things you've just learned how to do, and then look at there, what do I really want to do, and what would I like to try? Get that sheet number 2 going. Keep it going. You see, that's the part of imagination, and that's the part of making choices and having curiosity in what's happening next. That's the part that stimulates growth, that stimulates the brain, it stimulates the body to get up and move. And action is the attraction. When people see you moving and grooving, they want to be along, they want to be around. It's a great feeling. So I'm encouraging you to do that. And really encourage you in this process, though, to take your time, inquire about a coach, a personal life coach, career coach, that can help you through this piece. Now, I'm a career coach and personal life coach, but I have my own coach I've had since, well, it's been about 15 years now. And we've worked together on some big projects, little projects, and stimulating things. I know when we get together on the phone once a week, it's like a new stimulation of where, you know, where you're going to go, how you're going to go, and what do you want to do next. It keeps the thing moving. Good coaches always will believe in you. Good coaches believe you already have the answers that you need. They believe that you already have those things which in order to make it happen and be a success. A good coach, their job is to ask questions so it stimulates you to answer them truthfully. And then hearing yourself answer them keeps that little person in your head from talking all the time when those quiet times when you're by yourself. And it helps have that positive piece constantly moving you in a positive direction. Coaches are an interesting lot. A lot of times I've heard people say that, hey, that costs money. I can do that myself. Well, I'm going to tell you what, if you had all the ball players on the team without a coach, think about how much of a good ball team it would be. If everybody said, I'm the first baseman, and they all wanted to play first base, or nobody could hit. and they didn't have anybody to pitch. Think about it. Having a coach is a plus, not a minus. Now, in my case, I have found that I've been more successful financially as well as personally having a coach than when I did not. So I'm gonna leave it to go at that, but I'm gonna encourage you. I'm gonna encourage you to make sure you're doing that. Why is this important? It's important because no matter what career you have chosen, no matter what job opportunity you're doing right now, having a plan B, a C, or a D in today's world, having multiple streams of income, quite frankly, is just really smart. Things are changing so very, very quickly and rapidly in our way we do business, the way we do sales and marketing, the way we do hiring and letting people go, the way actual companies grow is so different than it was before. But you're different too. And leaders, ages and stages do make a difference. Like I said, my list of things I never wanted to do was pretty small when I first started this opportunity many years ago. Now that list has gotten a little bigger because as of my age and stage and the careers and opportunities and jobs and companies that I've built, there are things I don't want to do anymore. So when I build a company, I hire out the accounting piece of it because I don't want to do that anymore. Think about it. What is it that you don't want to do, shouldn't do? And there's things you can do that you shouldn't be doing. You see, those are the questions. So, first question, do you want to keep doing what you're doing just somewhere else? Now, does that mean you want to pick up and move, the household? Or is that just mean you want to take and go from one company in the same city to another company in the same city? That's a huge question. Because if I was your coach and you told me you want to take and pick up and actually move to a new town or a new country or a new state, I would say that we need to look at our treasure chest much bigger because it costs things to move. Very few companies move people anymore. They say if you want the job, come on down, but they don't pay for that move like they did in the past. So you need to think about it. How big is my treasure chest? Am I going to receive some kind of financial piece from the company I'm leaving? Can I take the 401k or whatever with me? My insurance. You see, there's a whole bunch of big parts and pieces that go with this. If you're in an organization that you can go from one opportunity to another opportunity within the same organization, well, that's just exciting. Because that means you can do this on a little less of your treasure chest. But that's going to be a big part, okay? You need to start asking those questions. Why do I want to leave? What is it? In my age and stage, am I ready to move something different? Do I dislike the boss? And do I dislike the way, sometimes those are bad reasons. That's why you need to talk to a career coach and make sure it happens in a certain way. If you do nothing else, get out your 3 pieces of paper and spend some time there. I'm going to encourage that no matter where you're at in your career, your age and stage, no matter what you're doing, I'm going to encourage you to keep that list. My list number 2 of things I want to do or try to do, it seems to be once I move them from list number 2 to list number 1, I've got something else to add to list number 2. I'm always wanting to do something new. I'm always wanting to learn something new. That's just who I am. And I'll bet you that you're a leader and you're the same way. I'll bet you. And so you'll find your list number 2 moving on from 2 to 1, from 2 to 1. And also you'll find some things on number 1, you're going to move to number 3. And you're going to surprise yourself. But I have found this is an ongoing, continuous piece for me. It helps me with my creative process. It helps me with my imagination process. It also helps me with my visioning process. And so that starts to really all work together. So that's why I'm encouraging you to do it. I'm encouraging you to take and do the research, do the papers, Get prepared. Go and do what you need to do. Take a class. Go to a seminar. Um, Sit with somebody. Shadow somebody in the job or opportunity you think you'd like to do. Um, be with them. Interview them. I interviewed a lot of people before I started doing what I'm doing. And I talked to a lot of writers before I started writing the book because I thought, boy, it's got to be a lot harder than what it seems, but it is. Okay? Do the list. Do the research. Get prepared. Do what you need to do. Find out what you need to do and do it. Step number 3, make sure that when you do those things, everything's in order. You do execute. You make it happen. As soon as you execute, though, network. Call those people that you used to know. Call the people that you don't know. Take and go to networking organization meetings. Get out and see the Chamber of Commerce. Do what you need to do, because here a famous person once told me, if you're not being seen and heard, you're not being seen and heard. Let people know. You just never know who could be sitting next to you somewhere that could help. And when it starts to all come together, I mean, when it starts to really come together and you get excited and people start seeing it coming together, do the happy dance. Celebrate. Make sure that you're celebrating in a way that, hey, we made this career change and it's working for me, for my family. And let people know so that they see that there's choices, there's possibilities to be made. That leaving one for sure thing is not as terrible as it seems. There are some things you need to put in place. I am going to encourage that coach. Once you've started to network and you're getting out there and celebrated, people are going to see this is going again. And that's when you need to sit and evaluate. How am I doing? What do I want to be doing? How do I want to be doing it? And am I doing it? You see, without the evaluation part, you just, again, willy-nilly, you have really no idea whether you did or you didn't, or you should or you shouldn't. So make sure that you're doing that. Again, I'm going to encourage that you always have a plan B, C, D, E, F, G, that you have your ongoing continuous 3 lists going all the time. I keep mine in my journal, by the way. And when I start a new journal, I move the list over to the new journal, so I always have it with me. I never know when I'm going to find something I want to try new. So you just never know. Or you come to the conclusion that I don't want to do that anymore. I never want to do that ever again. So, that's why that's so important. So this thing, are you ready for a change in careers? Are you ready for something different? Do you have a plan? Do you have a motivation? What is the motivation? There's just so many questions here that I could spend time asking you. I really want to encourage leaders out there. I want you to encourage the other people around you to do these same things. Let them get their 3 lists going. And you know what? If they're willing to share them with you, that's even all the better. That will help you help them help themselves move and groove where they want to be. It could be in the same organization. It might be in the same part. Might be, in a different part of the organization, but it might be in a different organization altogether. It might be on their own organization. But it doesn't hurt to help people. Zig Ziglar often said, if you want to get what you want, help enough people and you'll get what you want. And he was so right. Well, on behalf of myself, Dick Powell, and the whole Leadership Corner team, I want to say thank you for being a part of today's program. Our hope is that you've received a nugget of wisdom and guidance that will help you build your leadership ability. If you have any questions, of course, or comments on today's program, don't hesitate. Send me an email, dick@leadershipwrangler.com, dick@leadershipwrangler.com. If you want to set an appointment with me, go to www.leadershipwrangler.com. If it's just a burning question you need it answered right now, give me a call, 727-422-1833, 727-422-1833. And when your organization is ready, that next guest speaker or instructor to come and work with your organization on leadership and accountability, don't hesitate to give the Leadership Wrangler a call, 727-422-1833. And until next time, This is DW the Wrangler saying, ride hard, ride fast.